Hello, welcome to May 12th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is the Good Life medication. Feels that way sometimes. I'm a little distracted. There's a family of birds outside the window. You can hear them making their birdie sounds. I don't think those are the babies. I think that's the adult talking, chattering. Anyway, this is a daily activity that I do shortly after getting up. First thing I do is after I get up is clean up. Then I make a journal entry, and then I do this. And I do this in order to remind myself of my life objectives and principles, to maintain them, to look for any problems with them, and then to prepare or check to see how I did applying those yesterday, and to prepare for the coming day. A little bit out of that order. I do the checking first and yesterday, then I remember them, and then I plan for the day. So let's get started. Yesterday was another curious day. It's been a curious week. It's been like a week of respite, of a sort, a cautious respite. Want to come up here? Little dog? Because I had come here. I suffered a catastrophic computer problem on Monday, which required a new computer. I had to go to the office, get it all taken care of, and then I've got so many applications and connections and services that I use to get my job done that really it took me until yesterday afternoon to have everything all set up. Come here. There we go. So fortunately, it was kind of a down week. I've got a challenge that's being overcome that we'll address today. So the timing couldn't have been better. Oh my gosh, I need to reach out to those people. Yes, I need to have something I need to do today. Note to self. So yesterday was more a day of just kind of catching up while things were kind of at a standstill. Not too many challenges yesterday. Let's do the good life. 7 objectives, 30 principles. And these are: objective number 1 is to be always ready to die, to have my life in order that I can check out at any time, and things are as settled as they could be, including my relationships, including my life work. 2, to make good and effective use of time, to not waste time or let time just flitter away. Speaking of which, did I earn my circle yesterday? My criteria? Remember for the Memento Mori death calendar? Did I write in my journal? Yes. Did I make a video? Yes. And did I read at least 10 pages? Yes, I read probably 14 pages yesterday. So, get a circle. Is it already Thursday? My goodness. Tomorrow I get to go have lunch with my wife. Looking forward to that. Next is the next objective, that is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. To not let I'm getting it mixed up. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions, and then to perform good actions, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunity. And my last objective is to just do one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly and deliberately. Now, 30 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war, to always be fighting against everything that I think is true, to hold myself to account for what I believe, to justify it, and to demonstrate that it's accurate. 2, as well as things that other people claim that I should believe, hold those to account as well. 2 is the principle of reason, and this is the principle of honesty, objectivity, and doubt, which is the frame of mind that I have in approaching the world, looking at things truly as I can, being objective, sloughing away the emotional input, and to be apathetic. Skeptical. I'm going without coffee this morning, so I'm a little off base. and to be a skeptic, a fierce skeptic of especially the things that are important. Next is the homunculus, the suggestion that free will is an illusion, that there is no such thing as a soul. And as a result, there is no God. There's no heaven, no hell, no afterlife. Just this little consciousness that we get for a short while. Next comes the Anchorhold, the suggestion that our consciousness is trapped and will not escape our life or our death. I guess it could kind of escape our life if we somehow had wound up in a vegetative state. Consciousness is gone, I think. Next is the home of good and evil. Good and evil, right and wrong, don't exist outside of us. They're concepts that live between our ears. This room, when it's empty, there's no right or wrong in any of these books. There's just, those are just marks, discolorations on a page. The good and evil are the opinions that I develop, that you develop, that we share, that resemble objective when we agree, but are, for all intents and purposes, nothing more than our mere opinion. Next is the purpose. My 3 purpose are to be a good husband and father, namely to raise my daughter successfully to adulthood, to be a virtuous human being, improving the well-being of others, especially thinking others, including our pets, and the world at large if I can. And then mission. My mission is to share the story of going alone and the resulting creed of the good life, which is what I'm doing right now. This is one of the 3 prongs of my life purpose. Next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, that we're flowing and changing and falling to pieces. We are falling to pieces. I certainly am. So are you. Yeah. Maybe you don't feel it so much yet, but the day will come, maybe. Maybe you or I will just be wiped off like that with a stroke or an embolism or a heart attack. It's possible, and then you don't really fall to pieces. Well, you're not really aware you're falling to pieces. You just fall to pieces, and then you really go to pieces. Next, principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, including humans. And it's good to know what that nature is when we're dealing with other humans especially, and with other things, so that we can abide it and understand it and be prepared for it and not be surprised. And then the pirate ride, the idea that free will is an illusion, although a very convincing illusion, but nonetheless an illusion. We don't really have any freedom. We're just, as I think I said yesterday, the universe has far more to say about our lives than we think. Our choices, something to that effect. Every decision we make is the end point, not the end point, but it is an end point in a way, but it's really just like another domino falling. As much as each domino in a line of dominoes, each domino falling over is an end point, but it triggers the next domino, and it's the way its wake. And so too, it's just all these dominoes, bam, coming to this now moment, and then they continue on. That's what this appearance of free will is like. We can make any choice we want, but the choice that we make is really the one that, the only one we could have made in that moment. Not determinism, but yet not free. Something just kind of in between. And then comes maturity, and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. We are mature when we wisely remember our past successes and failures and apply to do better. Have the fortitude to do better, to push to better, to hold ourselves to better. And next comes the social principle. We're social creatures. We need each other. And then the public speaking. To remember to be very careful about what I say and what I write. To use deliberate words and few words and carefully chosen words. And to never ever gossip. And then Temperance. And the sub-principles of suffering, simplicity, and apathy. We're temperate. We live a temperate life when we're successfully denying ourselves what we want in excess. Just recognizing what is the right amount, just how many cookies to have after dinner, or how much beer to drink, or how much work to take on, or how much time to recreate. Everything. The list goes on. And we suffer a little bit when we deny ourselves what we want. And the resulting life of temperance is a simple life, simpler at least. And apathy is the trick that we use to recognize what is beyond us and to not let its effects affect us too much or unduly. Next comes the horror show. Life is a horror show. Just terrible things going on everywhere around for everyone to various degrees at any one time. There's always a little bit of it, if not horror, then a mild terror or fearfulness or fretting even. But then the horror does come. I don't need to give details. Any adult is aware. And it's good to remember that. Not to dwell on it, not to color our outlook too unduly, but to exercise temperance there as well, in the recognition and the anticipation of the horror. Okay, next is that which must be borne. We have to carry the fact of the horror show. We also must carry the fact and reality of the responsibilities that we've taken on. See them through to the end, to the best of our ability. Fortitude, maturity, wisdom. Next comes the Feast of Offal, which is what happens when we get upset and we tell the whole world about it. We soil them in the process, soil others. And then they do the same thing in turn. They pile it up inside, and eventually they give out the feast, and others consume that, and on it goes like a chain reaction. I don't want to participate in that. I don't want to give out the feast nor consume the feast of others. So I'll stand idly back. I'll fold my arms and I'll look away. I'll be aware of it, and I'll be prepared when they're done to give them a hug. And when I won't be done, because I'm not going to do it. When it's my turn to give the feast, I'm going to clasp my arms and go sit on the grass and wait for the moment to pass. Next comes the principles of distraction and the principle called agency and the great indifference. We distract ourselves from the seeming fact that there is no God. We don't want to see that. A lot of us don't. So we keep ourselves busy with our school and our family and our education, our school and family and work and home and family. And I said that a couple of times. And God and church and all that stuff. Sports, TV, music. Oh, gossip's a great one. I don't want to engage in those distractions. I would rather witness the empty and carry on with life with less, knowing I'm less. Okay, after the Feast of Offal, after that comes no, I forgot to take my allergy meds. I'll do this after this. Then comes the best seat in the house, right here. Not literally here, but wherever I am. To not want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay where, who, and what I'm doing, and am, and are. Muddled that up. Next is the Path of Wildness. It's a way forward into new life, to break out of where we are and create a new living. Collecting facts, making a decision, and moving forward. Using our gut feeling if we need to help nudge us. It's a good thing to do. And then after the Feast of Offal the Path of Wildness comes the risk of avoiding risk. There are two levels of risk in life. The deep risk is the risk of not finding ourselves. And the surface risk is the risk of not getting an education, finding a spouse, getting a home. I missed one. And then saving for, preparing for your old age. There's one other in there. All society clamors at us to do these things as adults. The tricky one is the finding ourselves. Good to do that when we're young. No second chances. Not really. You can kind of have a second chance, but it won't be the same. Okay. Next comes the sin and damnation. In my worldview, the categories of sin relate to being untrue, believing things that are untrue, and talking about others behind their back, gossip. So I categorize the sins as 1, falsity, literally being untrue, a liar. Credulity, believing things too readily. Faith, belief founded upon belief. So the very fact that I believe is the evidence that the belief is true, which is nonsense. Superstition, belief in things which are categorically identified as nonsense. We do it more for hobby, like horoscopes. Authority, believing things because we're impressed by institutions, people, and tradition. Dogma, believing things because it's the canon, right? It's proclaimed as being truth. And then gossip, talking about others in a way that we would be embarrassed if they overheard what we were saying. So I try to avoid doing any of those. Next comes complete oblivion. If there is no God, and if we don't have a soul, which are evident and clear, then there is no afterlife. That means we won't see our loved ones again. We won't have a chance to reconcile our differences. And we won't see any final justice in an afterlife. So we better reconnect now, reconcile now, and pursue justice in the here and now. Next comes the great life adventure, one or more experiences that contribute to the story of our life, help to make us the man or woman the unique and interesting man or woman that we want to be. It's not that you can't be unique and interesting without it, but it really helps. Next is the season of philosophy, a time to record what we've learned along the way, to get it down. Keep the pen and paper handy, or the guitar and the songbook, to write your own songs, or the camera to take pictures, or the easel with paints, whatever it takes, whatever you want to do to record what's impressed upon your mind, what you see in your mind when the muse speaks, remembering that the muse moves on. Next comes the bullseye aim, striving to hit the mark but usually missing. The uphill climb, a steady trudge upward and onward. Arena and utility, keeping our principles handy as utilities to get us through. Next is nothing is enough, reminder that less is fine. And then finally, the principle of fun, a reminder to have a good time in the moment of now, but also the sub-principles of hope, looking forward and enjoying the anticipation, and retrospect, looking back, enjoying the remembrance. Dialing those through. In a tough moment, I think of the future or remember the past. And when things are going really well in the moment, I engage in the moment. And when things are not going so well in the moment, and I don't have the liberty to think forward or go back, then I just push through. Fortitude. Temperance. The uphill climb. Okay, that's my Good Life Creed for today. Now, what's the plan for today? As soon as I'm done with this, I'll start this uploading. I'll get over, I'll read my Bible. I think I'm on Isaiah 39, maybe. And then I will, after I'm done with the Bible, I will take the dogs downstairs, we'll feed them and myself, then I'll come upstairs, get changed for work, and start my day. I've got like 4 meetings today. It's going to be a good day. It's Thursday. How did it get to be Thursday already? Anyway, be safe, but not too safe. Take it.